6933 and contribute your views on Makerere and how it fits in the current, if it's a reflection of the challenges of the country today. Jack, let me come back to you. The thinking about what Uganda wants in the next 30 years, 50 years, do you see that in Makerere University? Because it would be said of the universal primary education, it could be said of the universal secondary education, it could be said of other tertiary institutions, but Makerere stands at the epitome of producing either the thinkers, the innovators for this country. Your views on that?
I don't know if you can produce thinkers. Again, if you're a teaching staff who, teaches both day and evening, where what happens at the end of the day is that you're repeating your notes, which you used in 1986 is what you're using now. There's no space, there's no time to yourself as a person passing on knowledge to students to think, to research, to write. That's not what you're doing, and therefore what you're passing on is old information. There is no space for that where your library is still the same size, still has archaic books, does not have
I thought I've seen a serious expansion of the library.
Yes, they did expand it. The issue is, are the materials there? Do students have access? Are they able to access them? But also, like I said, when they're used to, I come and I take in what you lecture to me, and what I reproduce at the end of the day is notes that you have lectured to me, then you're not creating that space. When you have a classroom size of 300, where as a teacher you're not even able to interact, where you're going to mark, you don't even have the time to spend with your students, to walk through their hardships, to walk through their challenges, to pick out those that are innovative. You don't have that space or time. So it's almost like a survival for the fittest. The very few that will be self-driven and not wait to be driven by their lecturers are the ones maybe. And that's why we are saying that part of that is about resources. Part of that is about how you resource your own workers. And I think that for me the challenge around the strikes that happen again and again by the academic staff are also a reflection of how we treat or value our workers. From doctors to teachers to lecturers, everybody is underpaid, and you're okay with that. And you don't see the value that if you want quality, you need to invest. There's no shortcoming to that. You need to invest in ensuring that you have a highly motivated staff who are then going to put in all their time to do the right thing. But we don't seem to care as a country about our workers, unfortunately. That's what I see.
One of the biggest populations at Makerere University is the evening students, who should be, some of them, I don't know if they're listening to us now or not, but those are the ones that populate lecture theatres at Makerere University today. Is there an interest in them by the students to actually study? Because I was in Makerere not many years ago, and many, especially female students, right now, I don't know what is the trending telenovela on TV, something called Marichu or something,
whatever it is
that they're watching today, and they would riot if a lecturer wanted to stay longer to eat into that time. How does that contribute to the troubles of Makerere?
No, and like I said, giving my own experience while teaching there, the first day I walked into my class, I told them, I am not standing here to tell you. I will give you certain readings, and I expect when I come back that we will have a conversation, a discussion, so that we pick each other's brains about what you've read, what you think about what you've read. And the answer I got, but we have so much coursework, so they want you instead to be the one to give. And I said, I will not do that. I was unpopular for that, but I said I will not, because I want you to think for yourself. And I think if we are not providing that leadership as lecturers, as people who teach these children, that they need to think for themselves, because the world out there, no one is going to hold your hand. You're going to be thrown into, and they cannot write, a basic application letter. That's how bad and sad it is. So we must provide that leadership. It can't be about just the numbers and claiming that we have a university when all we have is a shell.
Godber, how deep do you need to dig for Makerere's problems to find a solution? You said you said in the first segment that you need to dig deep. You said you needed to look at the bigger problems, not treat the symptoms.
Bigger problems, because it's not I'm currently involved in a process. The vice chancellors of this country have a forum called the Vice Chancellors Forum. So they decided at one of their meetings and said, we need to look at the problems of Uganda's education system and see if we can make some independent contribution on how they can be resolved. So I was requested as an expert to facilitate the thinking process of how do you actually address the problem. Because remember, the problems at Makerere and other universities across the country is not just a problem of the university, it's a problem of the entire education system. The supply side, the system that supplies students to the university supplies half-baked children, because that's why faculties like faculty of law are saying, no, we need to do some admission exam. So they can no longer rely on they can no longer rely on these exams. So what shocked me was when I went and looked at the Education Policy Review Commission report of the commission that was chaired by Professor Senteza Kajubi. I found that in 1989, when the report was published, the way the Kajubi Commission presented the problem of Uganda's education system, you simply have to lift that section and put in a new report and publish it. Because they talked about, we haven't moved an inch
from 1989.
Yes, I think the only two things that have been done where you can say some progress is the introduction of universal primary education. That was a recommendation of the commission, and the construction of classrooms. Those were two of the recommendations. So you can give credit to government in spite of the shortcomings of the UPE, which I'm not a fan of. You can say they have made some progress, but the problem of lack of critical thinking in the children that we produce from our system, the problem of lack of skills, vocationalization, all those issues are so clearly articulated that if government of Uganda was organized in a manner where it looks at the population, at our young children as the most important resource for the development of this country, that's where we would be putting the money. Now you see the excitement has moved now from looking at our human capital to go to saying, oh, now we have oil, our problems are solved. But I think the most critical human resource, the most critical resource that we have as a country, our youth, and how we invest in them is going to be critical. Now, Makerere University is and university education is just one element in that equation that you need to be able to deal with. Now, are we able to deal with that? I have argued, and I want to argue once again, that the nature of our politics, the system of government that we run, the fact that we have degenerated into regime survival, regime longevity politics, does not render us the opportunity to confront the fundamental challenges that face our education system, that face our young people.
Chairman Mao, from a university that produced so many greats on the continent, Ugandan doctors are still celebrated in South Africa, in North America, and other parts of the world. Thinkers, poets, and others have excelled. You produced presidents for neighboring countries and politicians in other areas, coming out of Makerere University. And you look at Makerere today, and Godber tries to tie to the political malaise in the country. If I get you right, Godber.
Absolutely.
The political malaise in the country. How do you deal with the two issues, the politics and where the country wants to go?
I think it is time, Godber, to bring in academic freedom. During the time when you, Jackie, and I were on campus, the politicians were very rare visitors on campus.
Absolutely.
Now you hear Ken Luchambuzi is an opinion leader in Makerere. Not that he has no idea, but surely.
But he should not be a regular visitor.
We used to have this debate of Mawazo.
Yeah.
You know,